Hello, good morning, good evening, everyone. I'm super excited to be here for a series of 4 mini lives about riding the wave of creative momentum in 2024. I'm streaming to a few different platforms at the moment, so I'm just going to do a little check-in while people are hopping on live to see that everything is coming through okay. If you're on live already, can you please let me know if you can hear me okay? So I'm just going to take a brief moment here now to check in. And while you're there, if you can let me know that you can hear me okay, and let me know, how has 2023 been for you? If you were to wrap it up in one word or a phrase, how has it been for you? Drop in the comments. Beautiful. It looks like I'm coming up live in a few of the platforms. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Okay, so let me know if you can hear me, or yeah, my mouth's moving and you can't hear. Live on Facebook, loud and clear. Thank you for your feedback. I'm using a new streaming platform, and I can't actually see who's making the comments, so I'll come back and interact later. But thank you for being on live. I always love the live interaction. It really makes a big difference. I can actually see a wild and expansive ride, someone sharing. I can hear 2023 has been expansion, truth, life-changing magic. Whoop, whoop. Fantastic. That's so awesome. So today's topic, well, the topic for the series actually is riding the wave of creative momentum into 2024. And, you know, it's been a huge year for many people. I know for myself, it's been a massive year. Um, and people I speak to say the same, and whatever the year has been for you, it doesn't actually matter. What matters is where you are now, and this point, traditionally, generally is a point where people, tend to look at, well, the year that's been, and what do I want to do differently next year, or what do I want to create for next year? What are my goals or my ambitions for next year? And some people do that, in the last quarter of the year that they're in. And some people kind of wait and just smooth into the next year and just kind of try and find their way. Everyone has different methods and different approaches to this time of year. As an example, for me, I my year actually doesn't go from January to December. I use the Mayan calendar and work with the natural feminine moon cycle. So my year starts, at the end of July. And so for me, this is kind of like a mid-year check-in point, just to consolidate, at that level. But as I said, it doesn't matter what your belief system, what your system is now. It's a great time to consolidate the past and where you've been and what you've been creating and what you haven't created as well, that you might be holding energy around. So I want to speak into today, consolidating the year that's been, both physically and energetically. And for those that know me or have worked with me, know that I'm someone who's pretty serious in terms of taking action, right? There's never anything to do, but there's always action to take. And it's when we take aligned action, that is efficient vibrationally and physically, that we really truly can create from and live in a quantum field, in a quantum space, with quantum results in our life, with, from a state of grace. And there's a methodology to this, but the best methodology is actually the blueprint that's within you. We all have a natural rhythm in how we're most efficient with our time, our energy, our creations. So one of the things that I dived into at the Presence Retreat back in September was living according to the natural rhythm of yourself and of life. And we can tap into this at any time. So I'm going to, over the next 4 sessions, the next 4 lives, I'm going to invite you to come on a journey with me to step into consolidating your year and stepping into 2024 in a quantum vibe, in a quantum energy state, so that you can achieve more with less effort, so you can live more without all the have-tos and the should-tos and the conditions. Does that sound good to you? Does that sound something that would be a good investment of your time to jump on, whether you're watching live or replays, to step into 2024, having come to a place where you are the predominant creative force in your life, and you manage your time, you manage your energy, but you also manage, what you give your attention to, which is the actual, most important currency that we have. What we give our attention to is what manifests in our life, and what we avoid and deny is also giving attention to. So we're going to go into that a little bit today. So today I want to speak into our energetic state and also our physical state, and I want to speak into a review of 2023. And we want to review 2023 because where we are until we are today is our past. And believe it or not, our past can be holding energy, can be holding baggage, can be holding even holding creative energy that we haven't fully realized. And how that impacts where we are today is that we're not really in our full energetic state, in our creative mode, in an efficient way. Now, what does that mean? Well, how does that look in life? Well, how that looks in life, maybe some of you may have started 2023 with the intentions or being really ambitious with all the things that you wanted to create in your life, all the things you wanted to do, how you wanted to do life differently. If that's you, pop yes in down below. Or you might be like me and not done resolutions or anything like that because you have a different pathway. But throughout the year, you've said, yep, I'm going to do that. Or you may have, bought something like a course or program and not given your all to it. Or maybe parked it somewhere. Or maybe you've said to friends and family, I want to catch up with you, at a certain time, and you've pulled out, or you've not really fulfilled the commitment or the contract that you made at the time. I know it's a contract sounds very serious, doesn't it? But here's something in terms of what we give voice to, or what we say yes to, or what we, even if it's a yes like we fully intend to follow through, or it's a yes because we're not really going to, but we're just going to say that because we're uncomfortable with saying no, and then unconsciously we don't fulfill what we said we were going to fulfill, whether that is meeting up with friends or doing something for someone else, or yes to your own heart and your dreams, like, yes, I'm going to fly business class this year, but when it comes down to it, you haven't got the money and you decide not to even go on that trip, what you back out of. So these are sort of the things that we want to tie up today. So I call it tying up loose ends energetically and also physically. there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad in this. And this is a process not to be in a state of judgment. It's actually a very loving and kind thing to do for yourself, because whether you're aware of it or not, all of those things that you said yes to and haven't fulfilled are holding energy unconsciously, and that's impacting and weighing you down. So we want to go into 2024 in our highest vibrational state, but also feeling alive. And how we do that is we look at the year in the past and we review it. And we also want to review the freaking amazing, that's a swear word to some people, I apologize for that, the amazing things that have occurred for you in 2023, right? We want to acknowledge those. We want to acknowledge that we took action, that we said yes, and we followed through, and we had experiences that lit us up, yeah? Or we followed through on crazy things that we've never done before and we survived. Or we expanded, whatever it is your perception of that, right? We want to acknowledge those things as well. So what I suggest that we do today and do until the next live, all of these lives you can do as individual exercise and not jump on any others if you don't want to, or you can be with me on a journey to step into 2024 in a quantum way, is what we want to do is just reflect. Take some time, maybe half an hour or 20 minutes, to sit down and really reflect. And you want to do this from a place of being real with yourself, right? Having the courage to be real and truthful with yourself and reflect on your year. And some of the things or topics I want to invite you to reflect on are: what did you learn? What growth did you have personally and professionally? If you like the word achieve, what did you achieve? What did you choose and experience that you love, that lights you up? And what did you say yes to because you felt you had to and it didn't serve you? What did you say yes to because you didn't want to, rattle the cage, but found a way out of whatever it was? What did you say yes to or commit to yourself or verbally that you didn't follow through on? Now, when we do this exercise, what I want to invite you to do is two things. It's accept and acknowledge. Accept the truth of what you did or what you chose, what you said yes to. Accept the truth that you did it, and acknowledge that you have done it, right? Acknowledge you have done it, that you played a role in the outcome. Either way, acknowledge the greatness of the bold action that you took and the outcomes that come from it. Yeah, so accept and acknowledge. We're not defining either as good or bad. What we're doing is taking full responsibility as the predominant creative force in your own life. And that's the premise that we'll be carrying through this series of four masterclasses. Because when we really stand in the power of being the predominant creative force in our own life, in our humanness or our identity, we make decisions and we take actions, not always in the highest for ourselves and others. And so by accepting, acknowledging what we haven't followed through on, or what we've committed to verbally out of a belief or a condition that we believe needs to be present for us to be a nice person, or for us to be loved, or for us to be significant, whatever it is, these are the things that often you haven't followed through on, or you've followed through on and they've not fulfilled you. You've pushed, you've burnt yourself out to make it happen, so to speak. So if you have any questions or anything that has inspired in your mind from what I'm sharing here, feel free to pop them down below too, because I'm going to address those for you so you can have the fulfilling experience of consolidating through the information I'm sharing with you, but most importantly, the action that you will take in accepting and acknowledging the year that's been. You can make up your own themes around that. You can dive into your health, you can dive into your spirituality, you can dive into your relationships, you can dive into specific areas. But I assume that everybody I'm speaking with are people who have done a lot of personal development and understand that this is where you would look if you wanted to dive deeper. We'll have to go back to the beginning of the video. Great questions. Awesome. So in terms of the questions, go as deep as you want to go, or as many as you want to go. You know, you have free will, you have free choice. But the bottom line here is we're reviewing the year and we're accepting the reality of what actions we've taken, what we have, put our time, energy into that has created, outcomes that we love or outcomes that we want, and also outcomes that we don't want. And in that, accepting and acknowledging what occurs if you approach it from a place of neutrality, from a place of consciousness, which is truth, right? When we face it with truth, we set ourselves free. So all of the things that we've committed to, all the things we haven't followed through with, that we are not in alignment with our true creative genius, not in alignment with who we truly are, our greatness, the energy that was there holding those things in place, holding you in a state of consciousness, are no longer there. And then you can move forward from a place of free choice. So we're going to move more into that in our next session. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being on live. Keep the questions going. #replay. And as I said, any questions, pop them in the comments below. I'm happy to speak into them over the next month. So enjoy consolidating. Let's, celebrate the humanness when we haven't, and celebrate, what you have experienced, like someone said before, magic and expansion. What you have experienced. As I said, it's been a big learning and growth year for a lot of people, and a lot of change with the people I've been speaking to in my own life. It's been one of the biggest years I've ever had, both ways. So acknowledge all of it, because we are the predominant creative force in our life, and when we do that, we are in our power to create even more, and we want to build that foundation up going into 2024. Thank you so much for being on live and your interaction. It really, beats speaking into a camera and no one being there. So thank you for your good energy. And I'll put the next one in. That will be Saturday, Aussie time. I'll put the next event in and hope you can join me then too. If not, #replay.